Hello and welcome to this splendidly new concept on my channel. And in my life, I haven't been driving for a long time. I got my license in November last year, so for like 4 months. And three weeks into having my license, I crashed my car. Not really. But, you know, things happen. Accidents happen. It was a terrible... Accidents happen. Every time I look in your eyes, every time I'm watching you die. That was System of a Down. Yeah, ice cream. I do have ice cream on my nose. Well, anyway. One of the most important first imperative things that started happening when I started driving is that there's a CD player in this lovely car, and I love it more than anything. So the first thing I did was I went through all my old boxes of CDs, which ended up not being that many, really, because having moved several times during my life and having purchased most of my CDs back in the 90s, a lot of those CDs have gone whichever way they have when I've, you know, taken CDs to cars and friends and lent them around and stuff. So I had a lot less CDs left than I originally have acquired over the years. But, you know, so I started building back up just a bunch of CDs. I started building back a CD collection. I started purchasing CDs, which... or copies of albums that I maybe had never even owned, but that were very essential to me. For example, what do we have here? We have, oh, it's actually right here, just propped up. I mean, it's propping the phone up, so I'm gonna have to replace that. I'm gonna have to switch out. I'm gonna have to switch out this album with Rain Dogs here, Tom Waits, which is still in its packaging. I haven't opened it up. I haven't introduced it to my car stereo yet. So let me pop in the Rain Dogs there. Phenomenal album. And then take the album that I was about to use and mention, which is, of course, The Prodigy, Music for the Jilted Generation in CD form. I have never owned this album, but this is one of the most... I mean, this is one of the albums in my life. The other one, I would say the other one being... I wonder where the hell it is. You know, sometimes I have kids riding in the car and they misplace my CDs and I'm just a fucking mess and I don't know where they are either, but maybe they're under this seat. No. Well, anyway, Queen's Greatest Hits #2. That was like the first album that I ever listened to and fell in love with when I was 4. And then when I was 5 years old, I was 5 years old when this album came out, and my older sister got it on tape. And that just, I listened to it as a tiny baby, and my life was changed. And so, and since then, you know, for the last 30 years, then I've listened to that album often, regularly, really, but I've never owned it until now because, you know, first I had it on that tape, and then I copied the tape to another tape, and then eventually probably pirated it or something, you know, streaming it, you know how it is, but yeah. So, one of the artists that I have really just been binging for the last few months is... Actually, you know what? Let's not even do it like this. Let's do this as... Okay, here's a reaction to one of the greatest, heaviest, awesome tracks of all time, okay? And I'll explain to you along the way. Just because I am Rick Beato. By the way, I lost my hair. My age finally caught up with me, but I am Rick Beato. And I will now react to a song and tell you what makes this song great. Because I am Rick Beato. Anyway, here's the song. Spoilers! Anyway, here it is. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. That's fucking right. This is the artist that I've been binging for months now. The Doors. This is a collection with all their studio albums. And, I mean, let me just pull out the... Where's the goddamn sleeve for the fucking debut album, which I have in there right now? I don't know. Here it is. Ah, look at this one. Naturally, this is the debut album of The Doors, recorded in 1960, I want to say 5 or 7. 1960, yeah, well, it doesn't say on this one. 40th anniversary, I don't fucking know. I want to remember it's like 66 or 67. That's when they came out with this one. And this is the opening track to that album, of course. Break On Through. Maybe one of their biggest hit butts. Maybe they're one of their biggest hits. But, okay, so it's right out of the gate. The song starts with this bossa nova type drum beat. And the kick is doing a boom. Boom. The kicks on the ones and the threes, and the hi-hats on the twos and fours. It's pretty hard to play, actually. It's like Meshuggah shit. And then in comes this, and I don't know how or why it has that effect, but it's super menacing. The da 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 da. Like it's a goofy-ish melody, but it still sounds menacing when it comes in. And then the song goes Heretic Anthem by Slipknot, because when the guitars come in, I mean, Bobby, I think it's Bobby or Robbie Krieger, the guitarist, phenomenal musician. When he comes in, or when the guitar overdubs come in, they start with a boom. So it's identical to how the Heretic Anthem starts, you know. And the bass. And I love that. That's one of my favorite parts in Slipknot's entire career. But yeah, check it out again from the beginning. The start is so good. One guitar. Another guitar. It's actually a part of the riff. And the vocals. Pay attention to the hi-hat there, because no one plays the hi-hat like that anymore. Actually, pay attention to the drum part in this, the drum groove in this part, because this is the first time this beat comes around, and it starts off this super rushed hi-hat, but it's tight, it's closed, and I think the kick's just on the one. It's not a boom, boom, boom. It's a boom, ka, boom, ka. So, anyway, and that chorus riff, the guitar is nuts. Like it's heavy. It's heavy as hell. This was years before. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the first Black Sabbath album from 1970? I want to say it is. And this is thrashy stuff. And I mean, do we even need to discuss the vocals? I think we do later on, because Jim Morrison has the sickest voice in, I don't care, in the history of music. The way he effortlessly hits every note. He doesn't, on all these albums are mashed full of vocal passages and lines and phrases and words and shouts and stuff that I know by heart, and I hear them in my head. I listen to a song and I know that a crazy vocal part is coming up, but every single time I'm at the edge of my seat, because somehow it feels impossible that he would just hit that note, you know, like I'm sitting here driving and the part is coming up and I'm like, fuck, I gotta be remembering wrong. Like, it can't be that octave. It has to be like an octave lower. Like, there's no way he's just gonna fucking belt out that note. And then he does. And I'm surprised every time and amazed and awestruck. He's not really, he's been dead for 50 years, so he's not really trending, should I say. But if you really want to look or just study a fucking great natural vocalist, Jim is the man. There's no one that really just pulled off everything that he could do with that precision and that, and to think that he was like 22 when this came out. He's amazing. The other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here. Dug out treasures there. Good fills. Hi-hat starts opening. And then a drum / organ break a minute into the song. 2 choruses and then fucking instrumental break. And pay attention in the background, by the way. Jim Morrison is going nuts. He's just fucking yelling, screaming in the background. And I mean, the energy and the vibe of a recording like this is, you can't do this anymore. Like, you can't listen to a fucking album made in 2023 or whatever, and you know that there's fucking 45 million nerds have been sitting there tweaking a setting and all the musicians are just fucking themselves. Here, these guys just went to the studio, they press play, or record, whichever. And, yeah, just like all these intricate nuances, Morrison going, in the background while he's having a break, actually. Oh God, all caught in this recording. And yeah, the drums here, they're going back to that bossa nova thing, but there's going to be a switch up. I think he does like 2 bars of, and then he starts emphasizing, he switches to the snare from a rim click to just a snare. Bow, bow, bow. And it's so good when it's syncopated with the organ. So good. Let's go back. And the snare. So good. And then upcoming legendary part, which when I first heard this song, it was back in the 90s. I actually have that. My mom got this album. It's the Greatest Hits Doors collection, bought in 96, I think. And so this is the first album that I heard the Doors on. And the version that's on this album, the collection, is the edited version with the controversial, where the controversial lyric "She Gets High" was edited out. So on that old version that I was familiar with, it was just like, she get, and that's how I thought the song went. And then, hearing that uncensored version later on, it was like, wow, it's so, oh my God. So anyway, here comes the "She Get High" part. God, the way his voice breaks is just delicious. Organ. Chorus beat. Kick. Sorry, I gotta tone it down a little. But the chorus beat, the way, not Ray Manzarek, not Bobby Krieger, I can't remember the drummer's name. Sorry, John Dunsworth, no, it's something. But up to this point, when he's played the chorus beat, it's been a straight kick, snare. But now he's doing a kick, under the snare as well. And it's so driving, it's so powerful. And here comes one of those, Jim Morrison moments that I anticipate coming up, and I'm like, wait, does he really sing it like that high? Does he really go there? And then he does every time, surprisingly, on the album. And each time I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. And the way that he goes back from like just exploding vocally to taking it back, and he does this. There's this one part where he does the chord just like, what? Like he has this well, you'll hear it, but it's like this tender sort of thing before he goes back to the fucking thrashing chorus. So good. Okay. Check out the chorus drum beat. Here we go, Jim. Yeah. So good. And then fucking Bobby Krieger, what the fuck is his name? The guitarist. Then he does this sick. It's like what Vernon Reid does a lot in Living Color. He goes up here and just like does a. It's so fucking heavy, and woo! And the last chorus when he just does the bends and stuff, and the drummer just goes to the ride. So fucking powerful. Here, Jim. does that. He does that. Deep and wide. Like it's sort of, it's, you know, tender in a way. And then he just goes back to bring on. Guitar. That is so effective. This song is, because I'm thinking I wasn't around in the 60s, so I don't know what fucking music sounded like in the cityscape and the soundscape of life, and the streetscape and in the TV radio scape, whatever scape you were fucking in. But I don't imagine that songs were this abrasive and aggressive and stuff. And I love the fact that it sounds so modern still. That the way the last chorus go, it's built up. Break on through, break on through, break. Like it gets like broken down in the repeating increments, you know. Break on through, and then it even does like a smaller repeat. Break, break, break. Like it's a modern thing, and the way that the guitar at that point just bends, plays that root note, like wailing, and the drums are just like bashing on that ride. It is so, I want to listen to it. Like, I cannot, after nearly 30 years of listening to this song, I cannot get enough of it. And I get as excited every time. And I actually would like to listen to it again, on camera with you guys here, just to like make you fucking appreciate it as much as I do, but maybe not. But yeah, man, I could, hey, tell me if you want to have more listen-alongs with The Doors, because there is, on every one of these albums, there's at least like 3 songs, which I'm like, about. So this video was going to be about something completely different, but then I just thought, you know what? I actually didn't think anything. I just put the CD in and I went nuts. So, damn. Let's make another Doors deep dive video, should we? What makes Jim Morrison great? I am Rick Beato.